Tonight, if someone you love wakes up burning with fever, you can call an ambulance, find a pharmacy, or drive to a hospital. But imagine that it is the year 750, and you live in Chang'an, the capital of Tang China. The fever begins after dark. Your neighborhood gates are already locked. Beyond them, the great avenues are almost empty. Armed patrols move through the darkness, and stepping into the street without permission has a name: fanye, breaking the night. The punishment is 20 strokes with a light bamboo rod. But illness is also one of the few reasons the law allows you to leave. So how do you get out? To understand the problem, you have to forget what a city looks like today. Chang'an is enormous, but it is not an open web of streets, shops, and houses. From above, it looks more like a giant board divided into squares. Broad avenues cut the capital into more than 100 walled residential wards. 2 enclosed markets serve much of the city. To the north stand the imperial and palace cities, protected behind still more walls and gates. Your home is inside one of those wards. During the day, its gates connect you to the rest of the capital. You can cross the avenues, visit a market, report to an office, enter a temple, deliver goods, or call on someone in another ward. At night, that map changes. As daylight disappears, drums begin to sound. They are not entertainment. They are the city's clock. Tang regulations describe hundreds of drum beats announcing the end of the day. The signal moves outward through the capital. Palace gates close. City gates close. Finally, the gates of the residential wards close, and movement across the avenues is forbidden. One gate after another swings shut. The city that was connected in daylight becomes a collection of sealed compartments. But this does not mean you are locked inside your house. The Tang legal code is surprisingly specific. The curfew applies to people who leave their ward and enter the streets after the closing drums and before the opening drums. It also says that movement inside the ward is not covered by this law. Your neighbors can still cross an inner lane. Someone can carry water across a courtyard. A monk may still be awake inside a temple. Families talk, babies cry, dogs bark, and oil lamps burn behind walls. Night has not stopped life. It has reduced the size of your world. For most people, the gate is the boundary. Cross it without a recognized reason, and you have committed times fanye. The streets outside are watched by officials and soldiers connected to the left and right Jinwu guards. Patrols move along the major avenues. Military posts near gates and street corners help police the capital. The ward headman controls the keys to the local gates and is responsible for order inside. The danger is not that every person found outside is instantly executed. The written punishment for ordinary curfew breaking is 20 strokes. But first you can be stopped, questioned, detained, and handed over for punishment. And in a dark, nearly empty avenue, there is nowhere to disappear. Inside your house, the fever is getting worse. Fortunately, the law recognizes that a city cannot survive if every gate remains closed during an emergency. Urgent government business is exempt, so are certain serious private matters involving ceremonies, death, and illness. But having a good reason is not enough by itself. The legal commentary says that you need written certification from your county or your ward. Without that proof, even if your story is true, the guards are not supposed to let you pass. So before you can look for medical help, you must find the local authority who can recognize your emergency. You explain the fever. A document is prepared. The reason for your journey is written down. Only then can the ward gate be opened and the patrol outside allow you through. The law gives you an exit, but the exit belongs to the system, not to you. This reveals something important about Chang'an after dark. The city is not empty. It is selective. Guards patrol. Messengers carry urgent orders. Officials travel on authorized business. Men pursue criminals. Families respond to births, deaths, and illnesses. The machinery of the capital continues moving while most ordinary residents remain behind their ward gates. Curfew does not decide whether the city is awake. It decides who is allowed to use it. And sometimes, the government changes that decision. On special nights around the Lantern Festival, the authorities can suspend the curfew. The phrase later remembered in poetry is that the Jinwu guards do not forbid the night. The same gates that normally divide the city open after dark. People pour into the avenues. Lamps glow above the crowds. Music, carriages, performers, officials, servants, wealthy families, and ordinary spectators fill spaces that are usually forbidden to them at this hour. The celebration feels extraordinary because an open night is extraordinary. For a few nights, darkness no longer shrinks the city. Then the festival ends, the drums return, and the walls become boundaries again. Of course, no law controls every person perfectly for 300 years. In the middle and later Tang period, commerce pushed beyond the old market boundaries. Officials repeatedly complained about illegal night trade and failures to enforce the rules. Powerful people, soldiers, foreign envoys, and those with official connections did not always experience the city in the same way as an ordinary household. The law described an ideal order, real Chang'an was messia, but that messiness does not make the curfew imaginary. It shows why the government kept issuing orders, posting guards, closing gates, and punishing those it could control. Now return to the person waiting beside the closed ward gate. You hold the document that permits you to seek help. The gate opens just wide enough for you to pass. Behind you is the noisy, familiar life of your ward. Ahead of you is a vast avenue, dark and exposed, leading through a capital that contains hundreds of thousands of people, but suddenly feels almost empty. Every light in the distance belongs to someone who has a reason to be there, or enough power not to need one. To you, night is simply another part of the day. You can work, travel, shop, or disappear into a city that never fully closes. But in Chang'an, darkness changed your legal place in the world. The city was still there beyond the gate. It just no longer belonged to everyone.